What's going on, everybody? It's Moonshine, the Hillbilly Hellraiser. Welcome back to another Moonshine Talking. And today, I'm going to do an album review. But first, as always, you can see I've done a little redecorating in here. Got that Morton Red banner that I got a while ago. I threw that up. It's kind of funny that all you can see from this angle is Revok. But let's see. Let's see if we can move this and you can get a better shot of this thing. Yeah, you kind of get it. I'm not gonna try to push my computer too much, but yeah, I'll probably do some rearranging in this room and put some more banners up because you see I got the Virulence one and now the Morton Red, and behind the Virulence one still the Morpheus Descends one. So but you didn't come here for interior design or anything like that, or hearing about me rearranging my room or anything like that. But yeah, and then I gotta get a poster frame for that obituary poster because sometimes what happens is I'll do calf raises when I'm doing leg day, and I'll throw some dumbbells on the ground, and I'll just kind of brace myself up against the wall and kind of do my thing. And sometimes, if I'm not careful, I tend to run into it, and that's an old poster, and it's kind of like it's not it's not in the greatest of shape. So rather than destroy the thing, because I've had it forever, I figure I'll probably get it framed and then I'll put it somewhere. But anyhow, as always, life is pretty good for the most part. Can't really complain. Hope everyone's doing good. But yeah, let's get into this. So this just came out. I just got a notification from Bandcamp that this came out. It officially releases on Friday the 18th. Comes out on Ipecac Records. This is their 28 albums, full length studio albums that these guys have put out. The Melvins are prolific. They don't really need much of an introduction. They are a phenomenal band, legendary in not only like the punk and the grunge, but the sludge and stoner doom scenes. They have that sound and a diversity to their style that it transcends genres. It's one of those bands where it's really hard to pinpoint and just pin a label on them. And I think that's why they're so popular. I think that's why they've been around forever. That's why such a wide variety of bands and musicians and genres, people that are in little subcultures of this one to that one. I think that's kind of why they transcend a lot of those, and that's what's really cool about them. I've loved them since I first heard Houdini in high school. Listening to Honey Bucket on MTV. That's just such a punishing, heavy ass song, and it's just so killer. And everything they put out is top notch. I mean, they're one of those bands. They really don't put out a bunch of junk, and which is surprising because they're putting stuff out all the time. But yeah, man, they're a killer band. I enjoy them. They're not like, again, they're not the most metal band on the planet, but they still kick ass nonetheless. So yeah, let's get into this. So it's 5 tracks. It's about 34 minutes of music on this one. You had, of course, King Buzzo, uh, Buzz on guitar and vocals, Dale Crover on drums, Stephen McDonald on bass. Same band, same lineup that was on Tarantula Heart last year. Live, they're out on tour right now with Napalm Death and Weed Eater, and they're actually going to be in town on Wednesday. They're going to be here in Tampa at the Orpheum. I'm not going to get to go to it, unfortunately, because I got to work. So I told one of my coworkers who she loves the Melvins too. She's from Washington. She's from the Washington area, Forks, I believe, which I guess their big claim to fame is that Twilight was filmed there. I've never seen Twilight, so I couldn't tell you, but that's what she always tells me is that that's their big claim to fame, that town. But so she loves grunge and punk and stuff like that. And I said, look, I can't go. It's your night off anyhow, so go check out the Melvins. You're gonna have a great time. You'll probably like Napalm Death, especially because ideologically she agrees a lot more with a lot of like what Barney's gonna be talking about than what I would. So It'd be a good time. So I hope she has fun. Hopefully she goes because it'll piss me off if she doesn't. But reason I'm bringing all this up is they got, I believe they got Cody Willis is out on tour with them doing They always bring out two sets of drummers, and Cody and Dale play off of each other. So that should be really cool to see. When I saw them probably like 2 years ago, I saw them with We the Asteroid, I think is the name of the one band. And then I saw him with somebody else. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember who else it was. But I saw him a couple of years ago and they kicked ass. So it was a really, really good show. So again, hopefully they're going to be in town. They're on tour right now. If they come to your town, go check them out, because they're always a good time. They're probably gonna be playing some stuff off of this. I know that some videos I've seen they've been opening up with "Work in the Ditch," which is a very killer song off Tarantula Heart, and then probably mixing up with a bunch of other stuff because again, they've been around for decades, have a wide list and wide variety of songs to choose from. So you'll be entertained regardless. So anyhow, so yeah, man, this is a good album. It's the Melvins. I said this last time when I reviewed Tarantula Heart. Did you? Tarantula Heart. It's hard to like describe the Melvins other than it's the Melvins. It's a mix. It's got a punky feel. It's got a grunge feel to it. I was going to be a douche and say it's got grunge appeal and rhyme and all, but anyhow, I guess I'm a douche anyway because I did it anyhow. But yeah, lots of punk vibes, lots of grunge vibes. Definitely very sludgy at times. They incorporate, and they've been doing this more recently. Lots of synths, and almost like it kind of creates there's strong senses of like you almost get like craft work out of them. Black Magic SS and even like Hawkwind, if you're familiar with old school Hawkwind, a lot of stuff like that. I'd even probably toss in maybe like friggin' Monster Magnet or something like that because they were very much inspired by Hawkwind. So that'd be another band if to draw comparisons to like that. They're very synthy, soundscapey. It all just even probably like friggin' I just a lot of the prog bands, the '70s space rock prog bands, probably like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and who's some of the other ones like friggin' I don't know so much if Electric Light Orchestra, stuff like that, but you kind of get the idea. You get the hint. But anyhow, it opens up with King of Rome. Very solid opener. Sludgy, almost like the guitar tone on it's almost got like an HM2 guitar sound to it, which is very cool. It's definitely something I wasn't really expecting out of them, but very cool song. It's kind of hard to. I don't have the actual CD currently. I just got to listen to digital pre-release, and then the CD will get here when it gets here, probably within a week or two. So I wasn't able to really break down the lyrics or anything. But a lot of times with the Melvins and their lyrics, they're all like, it's like humorous, very very odd, just random stuff, and sometimes they'll have a message mixed in there somewhere. But a lot of times it's just very random, real random weirdness, just weird poetry type of stuff as far as the lyrics go. But then next up is Vomit of Clarity. That's basically like a synth, just a soundscape. A synth soundscape is the best way to describe it. It's probably the shortest thing on the album. It's 2 minutes. Then you get into Short Hair with a Wig. That's a fantastic song. Thrusty, offbeat riffs with synths, the synths mixed in and stuff like that. It kind of like it transitions pretty nicely from Vomit of Clarity to Short Hair with a Wig as far as the synths go. So I imagine the actual mix on the album, that's probably how it goes, as opposed to the digital where you click on the one and here's the song and it ends and you click on the next one, all that. That was the song where I got a lot of you could really get lots of undertones and underpinnings of Hawkwind and Kraftwerk and Black Magic SS stuff like that, and all those proggy bands that I was mentioning earlier. But very cool song. 11 minutes long. For me, that's a pretty long song in my opinion. But what's so good and odd about the Melvins at the same time is that they just capture your attention in with these songs, and they have a way of making it interesting and keeping your attention without, you look like with me, I look at stuff like that and I hear like an 11-minute song. I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be, with certain bands, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a slog, but they keep your attention the whole time, and for stuff like that, that's all you can really ask for. That's all I can really ask for is that that if it's a longer song, it doesn't drag, and it certainly doesn't. A lot of their stuff never really does. It's interesting how they're able to. It's not interesting, but it's cool how they're able to do that. Take a just a long song and capture your attention the entire time. And even when it takes like little odd twists and turns and stuff like that, it never gets boring. That's one thing I'll say about a Melvins album is they're never boring. But then up next is Victory of the Pyramids. That's about 9.5 minutes long. Starts out kind of garage rocky, then it kind of goes into like a punk melody. About 3.5 minutes in, Steve McDonald goes into this thunderous bass riff, and it kind of gets counterbalanced by Buzzo doing a nice little solo lead riff that he gets going on. Then they go into like an equally thunderous riff on the guitar, and then later in the song, and it just kind of that's kind of like the main idea throughout most of the song, and it's hypnotic at times, and it just kind of like, again, it just draws you in and holds your attention and keeps you there. Uh, so yeah, very very good stuff. Hypnotic and at the same time kind of just sludgy and grungy is the best way to describe it. But yeah, and then it ends up with the last minute or so. It's got more of the synth stuff going on, and this one actually it was real odd because I don't know how many of you watch Venture Brothers, but it kind of reminded me of Helper, which if you're familiar with Venture Brothers, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't watch Venture Brothers, you're not gonna know what the hell I'm talking about. But that's kind of what it reminded me of. It just reminded me of all the beeps and boops and bleeps and all that sort of stuff that Helper does in the show. If you don't know, it's like a parody of old Johnny Quest. It's a cartoon. It was on Cartoon Network. Very Adult Swim. Very funny show. But Helper is the scientist, Dr. Venture. That's like his helper robot. But anyhow, and then it closes out with Venus Blood. That's 8 minutes long, 8 minutes 10 seconds long, give or take a second or two. This is probably the most traditional Melvin song on the album. Pretty much a very straight up sludgy song. Lots of palm muted riffs. I'm pretty sure that Dale was using brushes for the majority of the drum fills and all the stuff he was doing on the song. And yeah, it's just a very very killer song. And yeah, that's pretty much kind of breaking the album down track by track. Not going into great detail. Probably not the most wizened way of describing it or not. But yeah, it's a good album. I definitely recommend it. Again, I don't think there's really ever a moment where the Melvins miss with stuff. It's very killer stuff. I would recommend it if you're a fan of theirs. If you're a fan of bands that incorporate synth stuff that almost sounds very 70s proggy mixed in with the punk or the sludge or the grunge, stuff like that, this would be the album for you. But again, I enjoy the Melvins. They're one of my favorite bands out there, and they put on a hell of a show. They're on tour with Napalm Death right now. Napalm Death and Weed Eater opening up, so go check them out. And yeah, that's my review. Thunderball, go pick it up. It's available now on Ipecac Records. You can get it at Bandcamp, probably through Ipecac, and wherever fine music is sold. And that's the closest I come to some radio shill or anything like that. So I hope you enjoyed the review. And as far as what I got going on in the future, I'm going to see Cannibal Corpse on Saturday, which would be very cool. They're on tour with Meshuggah. It's Meshuggah, Cannibal Corpse, and Carcass. They're playing at the Yingling Center, which Yingling's a beer if you're not familiar. It's very funny that it's on the University of South Florida campus. It's where the Bulls play. So it's kind of funny to me that they have the the basketball stadium that they have is named after beer, and it's a college, but nonetheless, no, the talking about college alcoholism aside, the irony of it all. So that'd be fun. That's gonna be a really good show, I think. Not the hugest Meshuggah fan, but I'm gonna check them out. I haven't seen them in a long, long time. Cannibal always delivers. Never seen Carcass, so that'd be a cool treat to finally get to see them live. And yeah, and then other than that, I've been meaning to do a collection update for the longest here. I've got a lot of cool stuff, some new releases, some stuff that I haven't actually sat down and broke down and done full reviews on. But I think probably what I'll do is I'll probably just do that as part of a collection update and then mention a couple of those things as well. Some of the other cool stuff that I've purchased as of late and been listening to and spinning and that sort of thing. And then yeah, it's Easter weekend. It's also WrestleMania weekend. I don't know how excited I am about that, being from the wrestling industry. This is like the Super Bowl of pro wrestling, but it doesn't necessarily feel like the Super Bowl this year. It just kind of feels like meh. So we'll see how that goes. And maybe if I get a chance and I get some time to check some of it out, because it's a 2-day event now, which I don't really get into, but uh, I won't get to see the first night because one of my coworkers, the girl who I mentioned, is probably gonna go see the Melvins. She's got a subscription to Peacock, so usually she'll throw stuff on, and we can just go back and check it out as the night goes on. So maybe I get to do that Sunday night. Maybe she'll be cool and throw the WrestleMania on. I get to see night two and maybe see the main event with Cena and Cody Rhodes and some of the other stuff that's going on. But honestly, I really haven't been paying much attention to what's been going on. There's a couple people who I'd like to see, but for the most part, this has been a very underwhelming WrestleMania season as far as that goes. The build up and everything to it has just been kind of so. So we'll see. But anyhow, I've babbled in long enough, taken up enough of your time, and anyhow, everybody have a good one. Take it easy. As always, stay sick, stay heavy, stay brutal. Always tuck your chin upon impact. And don't forget to breathe. Always remember, keep one fist in the gutter, one foot in the gold. And everybody have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.